Welcome to 8th episode of Mental Wellbeing during COVID-19. We have Professor Manika Ghosh, the guest speaker for today. Professor Manika is a director of Eudaimonic Center for Positive Change and Wellbeing based in Bangalore and also the visiting professor of psychology at the University of Hyderabad. She is a graduate in psychology and a postgraduate in industrial psychology and organizational behavior. She also holds a PhD in the same area. She has authored many books such as Positivity, a Way of Life, a book on wellness development and life skills, and also authored Health Psychology, a concept in health and well-being, the first Indian original book in the subject area. She was served as a senior technical consultant to United Nations Development Programme. As a special officer, she pioneered skill and wellness development program in government colleges across Karnataka. She has been an expert committee member for curriculum development for several organizations, including NIMHANS, University of Bangalore, and Higher Education Academy of Karnataka. She has presented several research papers in national and international conferences, also contributed numerous articles in research journals and national dailies such as Indian Express, Deccan Herald, and The Hindu. She has been resource person for numerous conferences, seminars, and forums. She has been interviewed by various leading television and radio channels such as BBC, NDTV, All India Radio, and Radio City. She is the Secretary of Association of Health Psychologists and the President of Bangalore Psychology Forum. She is instrumental in starting Swasti Telecounseling Center in Karnataka with the support from UNICEF. She is a recipient of various prestigious awards such as Rajya Sarovadam Seva Prashasti Award, Kalpana Chawla Award, and Nagamma Award. I welcome Professor Manika Ghosh for this session. Thank you.
A cheerful good afternoon to the staff and students of the Aligarh Muslim University, Malappuram Center. I'm very happy to be speaking to all of you. Thanks to the director of the center and Mr. Shafiur Rahman, who invited me for this talk. I must firstly congratulate the center to have organized this program, which is a series of mental health talks by different people. I do not know of any other institution who is doing something like this. This is actually the terrible need of the hour, because COVID-19, as all of us have understood, is not just a medical problem, but it is also a huge psychological and social problem. So it is very important that we address the mental health issues of the people around. And so I'm very glad to be here with you. Today I'm going to talk about what can be done with the negative emotions that we are all going through, because we all are facing hopelessness, anxiety, anger, frustration, fear, and all kinds of negative emotions. And nobody can be blamed for it, because all of us are facing the same thing in lesser or more degrees. The whole world, for the first time I think ever, has been locked down. Almost 1/3 of the entire world population is locked down, distanced, and distressed. So this is very natural that all of us are feeling such negative kind of feelings. But this negative feeling, as a psychologist, why I'm so concerned is about what happens to our body. With this negativity, which is, we are not able to avoid this negativity, but can we really do something about it so that it does not affect us in our health, in our mental health, as well as our physical health? So negative emotions has been found with neuroimaging that it has an effect on the neurotransmitters in the brain. The negative emotions actually give rise to hormones which affect our body, which affect our vascular system, which affects our immune system basically, like serotonin, adrenaline, as well as cortisol. All these are immune suppressants. They actually compromise with our immune system. And all of us know that during COVID-19, everybody is talking about boosting immune system. And when we experience panic, when we experience fear, when we experience sadness, we actually are compromising on our immune system. So what can we do about it? Can we really boost our immune system by experiencing or exchanging these emotions with something better? Yes, we can. Definitely we can. We can actually, there are ways of experiencing happiness. You must be wondering as to, during these depressing times, why am I talking about, or how can I talk about happiness? Because happiness is something from within, and I shall be today talking about how these negative emotions can be replaced with something which is happy, which is because happiness generates a different kind of hormones. Like they are called happiness hormones itself. Like for example, we have oxytocin, serotonin excess, endomorphins, as well as dopamine. Now these are together called happiness hormones, which actually boosts our immune system, which helps us to not only cope with difficulties that we are facing, but it also helps us in getting our health better. We have the energy to fight better. So that is the reason why we must now learn how to be happy even during these distressed times. Because this is, as I already have said, are not very ordinary times. They are extraordinary times. And so that is the reason why we need to put extraordinary efforts to be able to learn to be happy. There is a lot of research which has happened in positive psychology, which helps us to understand how our positive emotions can be developed, and it is all in our control. Why are we feeling like this? Because we feel absolutely no control over the situation. But we definitely can learn to have control over our emotions, over ourselves, over our immune system. So what can we do about it? I will give you just about 6 tips to be able to do that. First is replacement. Replacement of the negative emotions with something which is positive. For example, you are feeling afraid of getting, contracting the disease, afraid that your family may be in danger, afraid that you may lose your job, afraid that you may, fall so sick that you may not be able to recover properly, you may not have the resources, you may not have the money. So there's a lot of fear which is going on. Now ask yourself, stop for some time and ask yourself, what is that which I'm fearing about? What is that? Can I rationalize on the fear? Am I really not strong enough? Do I have not the resources? Do you think that people will not help me? Ask yourself one by one and you'll realize that many of your fears are actually unfounded. Because by now, we already know that there are certain precautions that we can take. We can sanitize our hands, we can wear masks, we can keep a social distance, we need not have to go out, and all these things actually can keep us protected. So by doing this is in our control, and so we realize that okay, the fear that I am having is probably unfounded, because we think that people may not come and help, but there are lots and lots of people who are actually helping. There are people out there who are really trying to help us in our medical emergencies, in some social emergencies. There are government agencies who are doing that. There are friends who are trying to do that even from a distance. So many of our fears we find are unfounded. So we can replace and think rationally. And also, when you are trying to feel negative, one of the other ways of trying to overcome your negative is trying to listen to something positive. Do not always keep listening, because if you open the paper or if you look at the TV, you always get negative news. People are sending WhatsApp with all the negative things. But you also can consciously try to see something which is positive, maybe something which is beautiful. I generally, for example, I watch something which is in the YouTube, something on gardening, or something on travel, something on, some beautiful music. And these can actually enlighten my mood, because I do not want to really look at all the negativity that is happening, because I cannot control it. I have no way I can stop it. So what I can do is I can replace those negative experiences to positive by looking at something which is positive, which is happening around. Probably, have a nice chat with somebody, talk to somebody, listen to good music. Even in music, I think learn to listen to something which is peppy, which really elevates your mood, and not something which is sad songs. So this is the way we can actually displace our negative emotions with positive. Next tip would be affirmation. We call it affirmation, which means to say, you keep telling yourself and assuring yourself that yes, this will be over. I will be able to cope up. I am going to be very healthy and nothing will happen to me. And if something happens, I have the resources to be able to cope up with it. I know I have friends who will come and help me. I know that there are people who around my place who can help me. So it is very important. It is called the neuro-linguistic program, which you can actually help to continue to assure yourself, affirm to yourself that something negative is not going to happen. And believe me, this actually helps you to really calm down, to experience a positive emotion. Okay? The third one is visualization. Visualization is something we always do. Actually, we dream, we daydream, we dream when we are asleep, and we try to see something which is happening around us even when it's not happening. So it's a virtual kind of a seeing things around you. Now you can visualize places where probably you have gone, which is a beautiful place where you've gone for a recent holiday, or probably you're seeing something on the YouTube, or you see something in your books, in the movies, and try to just see those beautiful things that you have experienced, beautiful moments that you have experienced, beautiful people that you have seen, and then try to just relive those moments. That visualization also helps us to calm down. In fact, one of the ways of imagery meditation that we're talking about is also about this, that you close your eyes and imagine that yourself in a beautiful place, among beautiful people, among a beautiful kind of a restaurant or something like that, and then you start feeling very, very positive. You feel very relaxed. You feel happy about it. And you actually are triggering your happy hormones. The fourth one be altruistic. Altruistic means about helping others. Now, all of us are in distress. All of us are going through terrible times. But many a times when we try to help somebody else without forgetting our own problems, we realize that we are not as distressed. We actually feel much more happier trying to help somebody else. So you find many of these NGOs, many of the activists and the forefront leaders and forefront activists who are trying to help others. Some of them, it is a job, like frontline workers, for example, doctors, nurses, policemen, and so on. For them, even the BBMP workers, for them it's a job, but there are also others, volunteers, who are coming out to help people. Now, for them it is just a voluntary job. Now, for example, we have started something called the Swasti Helpline. It is a psychological distress call that they make, and we try to help them through counseling. So it's a psychological first aid that we give them. Now, it is totally a voluntary work, and believe me, after doing that, talking to so many people in distress, trying to calm their nerves, we feel so much better. And so altruistic or social help can actually be a social service, can be of great help. Another one would be socialization. I know we are talking about social distance. See, when we talk about social distance, what we really need is actually physical distance. Perhaps I feel that it has been a wrong term that we have used, social distance. It is not social distance. What we really need to keep away from people in terms of physical distance. But still, we are very fortunate that we are in an age of technology, not like the 1913 or days when we actually had the Great Depression. We can connect to people even today through technology. We can ring them up, have a video call, have a Zoom call, a Google Meet, and so on. So we continue to be able to meet people through technology, perhaps. But then this kind of a connection with other people, maybe your family, your friends, your colleagues, and so on, actually helps us to stay awake. Because human beings are social beings. We cannot really stay in isolation. And what has hurt us most is that isolation. So we need not really be isolated. We can use technology to be able to speak to each other, connect to each other, understand each other's problems, and together when we understand, when we realize that we are all in the same, it actually gives you a lot of boost of mood and say that, okay, I'm not alone. Everybody is collectively facing the same thing, and that is very strong. It gives you a lot of strength. Next one would be engagement. And I think this is where we really have to, this is a time when we've really been given. Nature has actually provided us this opportunity, which probably we would not have had it earlier. Engage in something which is lighting. Engage in something which actually you love to do. You've always been interested, but you could not do. Maybe, you can start writing. Maybe you start taking up that book which you always wanted to read, but you could not read. Maybe you want to paint. Maybe you want to sculpture. Maybe there are lots of things maybe we wanted always to do. Maybe this is the time to try all those things, because nobody is judging you. It's you who have to engage your time, engage yourself in creative hobbies, creative pursuits, creative interests. Maybe try to sing. I know a lot of people who are just putting up their singing videos in the YouTube, which is something which is very nice. I mean, it is a very good engagement. You feel meaningful. You feel, something which is which gives you the life, which gives you a feeling of lightness. So I think with these sort of things, with these little tips which I have given you, there are many more which you can discover yourself. You can find out what is that which interests you, which are those which actually distract you from the negatives. You can find it for yourself, and you will find that you actually emerge more resilient. These are the times when we need to invest in our happiness, in our mental health. Probably keep a happiness journal wherein whatever little things happen every day which makes you happy, just keep the noting of it, which when you go back and look at it, you feel much better. So with this, I think we will be able to really fight this particular battle, which is a collective battle all of us are facing, and all those who emerge tough will be able to deal with the new world that is emerging. So tough times do not last, but it is the tough people who do. Wishing you all the best and a good mental health and a good physical health. Remain safe and remain healthy. Thank you.